Thank you, Melissa.
Sige po, let's bow our head and feel the presence of our Lord. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to learn and grow through this online review for our ENP board exam. We ask that you would give us the strength and the focus to stay on completing our review and do it with excellence. Help us to be diligent so that we may gain knowledge and understand all of our lessons. Give us patience when we are struggling and help us remember that you are always with us through this endeavor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Melissa. Parang naghang yung aking Jen, can you hear me well? Naghang.
Yes po.
I cannot click on anything. So let's see. Press view. Anyway, can you share, Jen? Can you share the next slide from the Canva, no? So let's see. Sige, i-enlarge natin. I think we are on the diversity. So that's the after legal, legal. Okay. So I think you got it correctly. So, okay. So I already discussed this in a separate lecture, no? Parang ito yung focus niya, special area studies, but I will still provide some siguro further explanation or yung mga highlights of special area studies. Like for example, so there are four special area studies when we are formulating our comprehensive land use plan. So we ancestral domain, for example, so in the CLUP, ancestral domains are recognized as territories with their own customary rules and leadership. So the plan reflects titles and claims under the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act or the IPRA, okay, and uses the ADS-DPP. Someone can unmute and tell me what it means by ADS-DPP for some recall purposes. I would appreciate. ADS-DPP. ADS-DPP. It's an acronym. You know what? May ikikwento ako. You know, when I was in Zamboanga City and I was reviewing people there, so it comprises people from different provinces of Zamboanga Peninsula. And I also asked the same question. And so walang makasagot, and there are like 50 plus in the room, so it's face to face. And so this was like 2014 or 2015, so it's been a decade. So it's in a hotel setting. So it means there are waiters, waitresses. So I also heard that the waiters are parang mostly, if not all, are college graduates. So nagbiro ako and I asked them, if there's no one who can answer me this question, siguro yung mga waiters natin, it would be good if someone can answer me. And yes, ma'am, mayroong nag-raise ng hand and he answered. Can you imagine na yung nagse-serve sa amin na who has or who have hindi naman 100% attention, because they're serving us, especially all throughout the day. Yeah, throughout the day they serve meals, 'di ba? Snacks, ganon. Pero sila yung nakasagot, 'di ba? So, okay, someone chatted. Okay. Melissa answered ancestral domains, sustainable development and protection plan. Then si Sir Adolfo, sir, it's ancestral domain. Okay, ancestral domain, sustainable development and protection plan. So it it's correct. Pero mag-unmute next time so I can hear also your voice. Thank you, Melissa and Sir Adolfo. I already met Sir Adolfo face to face, so thank you, sir. Anyway, diba? So they answered me right away. So that's an experience I cannot forget in my entire career life, kasi imagine nasagot nila ako nung walang nakasagot dun sa mga nagre-review. So that's how life would bring us sometimes that yeah, it gives us surprises, right? Kapag may nakakasagot sa'yo na hindi naman siya reviewee or, diba? So, ancestral domain. Okay, so you already saw the meaning of ALS-DPP. So more or less, we can relate very well. Okay, so I was trying to tell you that the plan reflects titles and claims under the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act and uses the ancestral domain. Ano ulit yan? Ancestral domain, someone ulit? Sustainable Development and Protection Plan. Okay, so it's the primary reference for activities inside the domain. Okay, so that's the plan. And the maps show the domain. It also shows customary use areas, the sacred places as well, seasonal routes, together with any overlaps with protected areas, timber or mineral concessions or public works. So where public or where projects affect a domain, the plan notes the free and prior informed consent process and the agreed conditions. So adjacent zones outside the domain are drawn also, rendered, okay? So that access, watershed protection, and cultural sites are respected on both sides of the boundary. Now, for cultural heritage, heritage work in the CLUP starts with a clear inventory of built structures, cultural landscapes, and historic streetscapes under the National Cultural Heritage Act. So, as we study this planning process, we are also doing environmental laws or planning laws, okay? So these are special laws. So the plan then identifies conservation areas where historic environment or historic fabric is continuous and sets rules on height, mass, and view corridors so landmarks remain visible. And there's the concept we call adaptive reuse. Every year yan, lumalabas yan. So, and then, of course, that concept have provisions to prove or to serve as reference. And these adaptive reuse provisions make rehabilitation practical for housing, offices, and community facilities while keeping character. Because many heritage areas face hazards, so the plan pairs conservation with risk reduction, including structural upgrades or if there are evacuation arrangements. So well-managed heritage districts support everyday life and local business, not only tourism. So, magulo yung kwento. Just a moment. I have 5 cats playing around the room, so just a moment. Oops. Where am I? So, saan na ba ako? Nasa cultural heritage pa lang ako, no? So, now I would like to proceed with urban design and development. This study turns the spatial strategy into the form and performance of streets and blocks. So it lays out a connected street network. Okay. So most daily trips are short and emergency access is dependable. So higher densities and mixed uses are placed also where transport and utilities can support them, usually in centers and along main corridors. So design guidance covers build to lines, okay? Build dash to, so where to build. And then the frontage, the shade, and universal access. So ground floors work well for pedestrians. This may not sound very familiar to you, but it would be good to incorporate indeed urban design and development into our planning work. So also under urban design and development, open spaces from a linked system of parks and river corridors that also handle stormwater and heat. Parking supply also matches context, so it does not overwhelm streets or compete with walking and public transport. So a simple design review applies only in districts where place quality is critical. Now, for green growth aligns development with low emissions and efficient resource use. So the CLUP favors compact mixed-use centers near transit because short trips reduce energy demand and household costs. It also protects and store or restores green and blue networks. So I've been saying green and blue, but sometimes I say blue green, that manage flooding and heat while improving public space and water security. It also identifies clean industry areas and service hubs with shared facilities and allocates room for circular economy activities such as materials recovery, composting, and wastewater treatment with proper buffers. So building under this concept, building efficiency is encouraged, but the biggest gains come from urban form, um, connected networks, and well-timed infrastructure. So public and private investments move in the same direction. So we can go to the next slide. Hmm. Can go to the next slide. Okay, so that's RA 8371. So by this time, you need to memorize, the numbers of the statutes like RA 8371. So this is the IPRA of 1997, things like that. So you need to do that, okay? Para during the coaching, sobrang sobrang ready na kayo, super ready na kayo, okay? Um So here, it said subject to, this is an act to recognize, protect, and promote the rights of indigenous cultural communities, indigenous people, creating a national commission of indigenous peoples, establishing, implementing mechanisms, appropriating funds, therefore, and for other purposes. So these are the bundle of rights: the right to ancestral domains and lands, right to self-governance and empowerment, right to social justice and human rights, right to cultural integrity. So, sige nga dyan, let me see the next slide. Right and something. Parang pareho, ano, so, ibalik mo nga. Okay. So, this one, is, let me just summarize the rights, the bundle of rights. So, um, this statute, known as the IPRA, affirms that indigenous peoples are rights holders in their territories. So it creates the NCIP to issue titles, resolve jurisdictional questions, and oversee implementation. For planning, this means ancestral domains are not vacant public land, they're legally recognized territories with customary governance, livelihood systems, and cultural sites that the LGU must reflect in the CLUP and its permits. So, right to ancestral domains and lands are this right rests on native title rather than a grant from the state. So it is documented through certificates of ancestral domain title or the CADT and certificates of ancestral land title or the CALTI. So within these areas, communities hold ownership. Um, they also manage natural resources consistent with law and decide on access and use according to customary practices. So for CLUP, the domain boundary, those core use areas are the primary use areas. Also, the sacred places and traditional routes need to be mapped clearly. So I hope you got that clearly also. Where public works or private projects are proposed, okay, the decision of the community is determinative through the free and prior informed consent process administered by the NCIP. Then the right to self-governance and empowerment, the indigenous communities keep their institutions and choose their leaders under customary law. So they participate in policy and program decisions that affect them, and they receive a fair share of benefits from resource use within their domains. In local planning, this means the ADS DPP that we're talking about is the main reference I mentioned earlier for what activities are acceptable in the domain and how they are being sequenced. So LGU plans are expected to align with those decisions and to record the agreed coordination mechanisms for services and projects at the boundary. Then the right to social justice and human rights. Okay. The law guarantees equal protection. What else? Security of tenure, freedom from discrimination, and redress for violations of rights. It also addresses displacement, restitution, and access to basic services. So, in practice, the CLUP should make room for settlements and livelihoods that are already in place, avoid citing new risk or in or near the domain, and recognize that enforcement actions must respect due process under IPRA and other human rights standards. And the right for cultural integrity, the last one there. So what are this? What are we talking about? Cultural integrity. So heritage belief systems, language, and knowledge are protected together with sites or locations that carry cultural meaning, such as burial grounds, ritual areas, and sacred landscapes. So the plan, therefore, identifies these places. It also sets compatible uses around them and ensures that design and public works do not degrade their value. So it's important that to understand that cultural integrity also covers traditional resource management, agroforestry plots, hunting grounds, and fishing areas that are part of community practice are supposed to be treated as legitimate land uses and are not displaced by, the usual zoning without community consent. So we can go to the next one. So, right to ancestral. Kanina meron na yan, rights to ancestral domains and lands. So let's just keep going. Next one. Okay. So this is no longer, I mean, this is not yet updated. I will be giving you later, uh, a more updated stats on this. But just the same, it said here total CAD number. So nasa kwan kasi ito, no? So it's in the HLORB guidebook. But yung total CAD number 135, I think between 253 to 257 na yung total CADTs approved. So I will be giving you a more updated data. And then total area covered. Of course, when you increase total ng CADTs approved, so it goes also with increasing total area covered there. Like here, 4 million. So it should be 5.86 to 5.97 million hectares. And so it also said population 1,551 to 21. So meron na ring ano nito as DPP. It said number 162, but there should be more, no? Unless madami na ring lapse or na-outdate, no? But I will provide you with a more updated one. 89. So I have a different list. Anyway. Jen, can you go to the next one? So dapat you should have memorized already the different acronyms here, like CADT, mga ganon. ADS-DPP, and then CALTI. So a CALTI covers a specific parcel such as house, lot, or garden, burial ground, so mga ganon. But the CALTI or CADTI is it covers the community's territory as a whole. So it may include forests, farms, pastures, hunting grounds, etc. Okay. So we can go to the next. It's a certain main. I already mentioned about this one. But anyway, okay, yan, sige. Keep going. Tingnan nga natin. Cultural. So itong so can you see Heritage City of Vigan? So yeah, the objectives of the National Cultural Heritage Act are which is the RA 10066, are to protect, preserve, conserve, and promote the nation's cultural heritage, so its property and histories, and the ethnicity of local communities. So it should RA 10066 treats heritage as part of everyday governance and not just like a minor thing. So it should create a system for identifying what's valuable and declaring it when needed and managing change around it. So cultural property can be built, buildings, bridges, plazas, streetscapes, movable also, natural with cultural value, and intangibles also like traditions, language practices. I think I mentioned this in the prior lecture. So items may be listed as important cultural property or at the highest level national cultural treasure. So heritage zones can be designated to protect ensembles and not just a single building. Natural cultural agencies share work. So NHCP leads on historical structures and sites. And we have a national museum that covers archaeology, anthropology, and natural history collections. So NCCA sets policy. They also coordinate the system. So LGUs are required to keep a local cultural inventory, and you need to create or strengthen a local heritage council and enforce conservation rules through their permitting process. So for planning, two rules are practical foundations here. First, structures at least 50 years old are presumed important. So alteration or demolition needs clearance from the proper cultural agency, which the LGU should reflect in its building and business permit checklist. So then second rule is that heritage zones carry special controls that operate like an overlay. So when you're mapping that, and you need to and it means you have the LGUs should regulate height, um, setbacks, facade treatment, view corridors, public and other public improvements, so the district keeps its character while remaining usable. And again, adaptive reuse is encouraged, and the law allows incentives. And the CLUP and zoning text can add local ones such as relax, paano mo yung sinasabi? Relax parking within limits, or use conversions that keep active frontages, or tax relief probably tied to documented conservation work. Many many incentives that you can incorporate. So what else? Hmm, ano pa ba yung hindi ko na mention here? Anyway, the spirit of okay, the spirit of place ties rules to what makes the district recognizably itself. So this includes materials also, 'di ba? Kapag yung mga bricks ganon, or any other types of materials, because you need to include materials and details that are common in that area. So public spaces also where people gather, and the views to landmarks. So remember Kevin Lynch? So and the way streets are used at different hours. So design guidance should be specific, and the control sign size and placement, also lighting intensity, and then roof equipment, outdoor units, and many more. And also when there are vendors there, and there should be a type of management that should be imposed. Um, then how the waste management there and loading, so daily operations don't damage the character. So programming helps the district stay alive beyond tourism. So nawala yung ano. Okay. And also local markets, cultural events, and neighborhood services keep streets active and make upkeep worthwhile. And when these three principles are visible in the CLUP, then zoning also in the annual investment plan, preservation becomes routine city management rather than occasional projects. So there should be like sustainability also uh, of how to manage it. All right. So we go to the green growth. Green growth. So next slide. Diba yung green growth already lectured also, but for those who were not around during that time, just please remember that in a CLUP, green growth is sometimes it's like a slogan lang, but it's the biggest gains come from the urban form. I think I mentioned earlier. So we know, especially the architects, ano, magaling sila sa, urban form, mga ganon. Compact, it should be compact. Mixed use centers also near public transport should be emphasized. And so you make local business more viable when you are able to, because it's near public transport, so you tend to shorten the trips, and you also cut fuel use and make local business more viable. So industrial activity is steered to service estates that share treatment plants, logistics space, and waste management, so which lowers operating costs and the risk of some spill. So I mean, remember the green blue networks. So what are these? The rivers, creeks, floodplains, wetlands, parks, street trees are mapped as a connected system. So they manage drainage and heat while doubling as public space and habitat. So we need to understand indeed the concept. Uh, we are also talking about resource efficiency, which resource efficiency follows from those spatial decisions that water is conserved by protecting recharge zones and riparian buffers, and by matching new demand to sources that can actually supply it. So materials stay in the loop when the plan reserves well-located sites for recovery and composting and keeps them within proper buffers, so they are clean and investable. Energy demand drops also when buildings sit in walkable districts. So they understand that concept with my shade siya, and then there's ventilation and mixed use also. So building level efficiency indeed still matters, but location and street design do the, it will boost, the appreciation of community. What else to say? So governance is straightforward when the CLUP, zoning, CDP, and LDIP point the same way. And so the zoning text, when you draft your zoning ordinance, it should, there should be an overlay for conservation. And then you also incorporate incentives for adaptive reuse and clean industry. And there should be rules that are predictable for projects near sensitive areas. So the investment plan should be incorporate public transport corridors, how you upgrade drainage, and how you design for the greenway links and estate utilities, so private capital can follow with less risk. So there should also be some concepts or incorporate plan for walking, cycling, and public transport. So what else? Okay. Then the urban design, probably the next one. Urban design. So, then urban design is utilizing fundamental principles and concepts of urban design. along with urban design evaluation to formulate distinctive characteristics and comprehensive development tactics for chosen areas that mirror the development objectives of the CLUP. So, urban design turns the CLUP's spatial strategy into the form of streets, blocks, and buildings. So, na-mention ko na rin ito, but because nandito na rin sa deck natin, and so I just keep going, even if pabalik-balik lang ito. And so it's telling us that a connected grid of short blocks keeps trips direct and then spreads traffic, so it's not, we avoid congestion, and so and guarantees emergency access. So this is important, but in metropolitan areas sometimes, especially in those very congested areas in Metro Manila, yeah, it's the emergency access could be very difficult, you know. So centers and corridors identified in the CLUP carry higher intensity and a mix of uses with the largest footprints and heights placed where public transport and utilities can support them. So we talk also about secondary streets, um, which complete, access for walking, cycling, and deliveries also. Di ba yung mga deliveries, it's, lalo na we have in Manila, we have Grab, ang daming mga deliveries. So, ano pa ba? So, open spaces are planned again, para as a system. It should be linked system. So, and how about parking? It should be right sized and placed to the side or rear. So I wish I can still incorporate later a full blown urban design plan para makita ninyo. Baka some of you would be more interested also on urban design rather than just planning, so it's a different field, but it's connected. So it's important characterization of our urban environments. So we also need to be concerned about monitoring of this one. So I'm not sure if in your LGU, you incorporate also urban design. I wish we can we can see a more pronounced or a more profound urban design in the CLUP, which rarely can be seen in most CLUPs. Parang minor lang, parang gano'n na you just mentioned it, parang on the side ba. So because heights, floor area ranges, and lot coverage are important, especially, okay, so how do we address our corner lots? So, and then also where heritage or key views matter. So, we always think about urban design so that we look at how priority districts use simple form based or design code elements, so applicants know what will pass even at the design stage, or the pre-design, when urban designers are sketching it. So, and then we can go to the next one, Jen. We can go. Okay. Ito you are more familiar with this, with the concept, because lahat naman ay gumagawa nito, CCA, and you have that in your LCCAP and DRRM in the CLUP, but you also have a DRRM plan. So the objective of integrating climate change adaptation, CCA, and DRRM into the CLUP is to effectively manage and oversee physical development, right? So in order to lessen damage to properties and lessen casualties, as well as to mitigate the adverse effects of hazard events. So it also involves identifying and executing suitable risk management measures to decrease existing risks and prevent the emergence of new ones. So in the plan, CCA looks at how average conditions are shifting. Hotter days, heavier rain, sea level rise. So yun yung mga concern ng CCA, no? While DRRM focuses on more acute events like floods, landslides, storm surge, strong wind, earthquakes, ganon, and you treat them together, there should be fusion because the same land use decisions shape both outcomes. So you start with like an equation, the risk equation. So what am I talking about? Risk equation, like risk increases when hazards meet people and assets that are exposed and vulnerable. So the CLUP directly controls exposure by steering growth away from high loss areas and by reserving space for water, for slope stability and access during emergencies. So vulnerability is lowered through site and building standards that reflect local hazards and projected climate. So a lot of science aspect here. So we use a clear evidence base. We compile multi-hazard maps for flooding, storm surge, landslide, liquefaction, and wind. Then overlay climate projections, design storms, sea level scenarios, and heat maps. So, and then we add who and what is at stake: households, schools, hospitals, bridges, water sources, power, telecom, markets, and warehouses. So, a short climate and disaster risk assessment ties these layers to design or to it ties these layers to decisions in the land use map and zoning text. So when we translate findings into spatial strategy, number one, we keep people, people and critical assets out of no build zones. We also keep people from active river channels, the storm surge depths, and very steep or unstable slopes, and identified fault traces. So yun yung ating just one of those findings into the spatial strategy. Number two, we also set setbacks that double as public greenways along rivers and coasts. So, and these managed floods provide access and cool districts. So, let me see, ano itong, ano nila, yung sinabi ng H-LORB dito sa DRRCCA. This is like the Venn diagram that they have, no? So, like a vertical Venn diagram. So, and just to share you what we normally do in CLUPs, that we also translate again in translating findings into the spatial strategy. We place higher densities and employment in locations with lower hazard, strong transport, and reliable utilities. We also need to cite hospitals, the depots, water and power facilities, data centers where they can stay open during shocks. with redundancy for access and supply. We also require site-level measures where development proceeds in managed risk areas. So there's also ang daming concern doon. So we combine normally hard works with nature-based solutions. Ano na yung what's the opposite of nature-based solutions? So like a structural one, like engineering work. So what are these? How do we do that? Like, for example, there should be detention parks, that should be mangrove belts that should be established there, and some works on restoring the watershed. So, yeah. But when there's demand or when it necessitates us to establish hard structures when they are necessary, so the zoning and work programs should prevent lock-in that worsens risk downstream. So this is very scientific explanation. And we need also to align plans and budgets in this particular framework because the CLUP and zoning should govern, they govern the task, the work. And so we need to have local climate change action plan and the DRRM plan that provide programs and then pati yung drills, right? So and we have the RRM fund for risk reduction investment. So not only response that we are talking here, but we need to have projects that that should be more responsive. And there's a need to have a dashboard also for monitoring. Hindi na kasi uso yung puro papel lang, ano? So we need to have, like for example, if the LGU or mostly siguro or if not all have website already and there's a dashboard. So people from the community would be able to view even if they're scientifically or they're super IT based. So there should be people should develop better understanding through your IEC measures so that alam nila yung uh those what are those high risk zones, and then ano yung what's the percentage of each of the critical facilities and where can you find the critical facilities. So there should be mapping also in that sense. And then ano pa ba? So the CCA and the RRM, they should not be in a separate chapter because they should be merged, and you know they are the day-to-day way of the CLUP protects lives and reduce losses and keeps the local economy running. So that's why mainstreaming CCA and the RRM in the CLUP is just really as important as any component. So I will read this one. The objective of integrating CCA and the RR into the club is to effectively manage and oversee physical development in order to lessen casualties and damages. So ito makikita mo to doon sa HLURB guidelines. So this is verbatim na na in-incorporate ito sa slide. Okay, tingnan natin, Jen, if meron pa. Sige, keep going. Tingnan nga natin yung mga 12 steps. Okay. So, I need you to master this part. I need you to memorize. Of course, yung mga taga-LGU, memorize na ninyo. Can someone, okay, sige nga, advance mo doon sa next slide, Jen. Yung walang ganyan. Okay. So, can I call someone? 27 tayo dito, no? So, kahit tatlo lang, who can tell me, pero yung pa-open yung camera. Tingnan natin. So it's just a practice. I usually incorporate this kind of activity. Tingnan natin kung kaya nating ma-picture na, or if you can't memorize, ma-picture, not exactly the exact words, but the 12-step process, if I can call some people. Sige nga, kwan kaya, mm, Sir Luis Cardell. Dalawang Luis, sige. Yes, dalawang Luis. Ano yung maalala mo sa 12 steps process if you can unmute? Sino mauna? Ano yung, kahit hindi mo na, so, titingnan natin if sino yung nakaka-memorize na 12 steps process. Not necessarily the exact words. Sige, ibalik mo muna doon sa Conjen. Sige nga, ibalik mo doon sa, yan. Ayan ha. So, I'll give you 2 minutes, sige, 2 minutes, you just glance, organize, and then tignan niya ninyo if kaya, identify stakeholders, set the vision, analyze the situations. Of course, this is interchangeable kasi can you see the arrow between step 3 and 4? Then set the goals and objectives, establish development trust and spatial strategies. Then you go to step 7, prepare the land use plan, draft the zoning ordinance. So yung step 7 and 8, madali na lang, after you have prepared your land use plan or formulated it, then it should be followed by a zoning ordinance, and then there should be a public hearing conducted. Then review, adopt, and approve the CLUP and the zoning ordinance. And then kanina 27 ito dalawa yung umalis. Jen, sino yung umalis? Implement the CLUP. Madali na lang, After you implement, you monitor. So, anyone who wants to volunteer, it's optional. Pero, si Sir Adolfo. Sir Adolfo, sige nga, tignan natin. Change mo, Jen. Ilayo mo siya. Yan, sige. Sige nga, sir. Kahit ano lang yung maalala natin na nasa 12-step process. Yan.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay.
First step is to organize, tapos ano ba yung sunod? Organize, tapos yung isa, tapos ang set ng vision, then ano ba yung sunod? Set vision, tapos
Sir, yung di ba when you organize, you need people, right? So when you organize,
yes.
yung number 2 is you identify stakeholders. Okay. Sige, baguhin ulit.
Organize, identify stakeholders, tapos mag-set ng vision, then parang okay. May isa pa, tapos set goals and objectives, then ano ba yun?
Sige, take your time.
Parang development, then development planning ba yan? Tapos, planning and development. Tapos, yun na, parang establish ng land use plan.
Correct.
Zoning ba yung sunod?
Diba
Ah,
pag na-formulate mo na yun, so you need
Pagkatapos
legislation.
ng land use plan, may zoning na siya. So, yung zoning, parang i-legitimize sa
True. I mean,
ng
do you need to present it to people, to
yeah,
the, sa, anong tawag mo doon? Public
sa
hearing.
sanggunian.
Hindi, public
Public
hearing
hearing
muna.
muna.
And then,
Tapos sa sanggunian
what
parang
what does Sanggunian should do?
ah, pagkatapos public hearing, tapos review, parang i-review. Saka na
Okay?
parang i-legitimize din,
Uh-uh.
implement. Eh,
So, what's the normal conclusion? Diba? Kapag ka nagko-conclude ka na, yung the last portion always, what?
implementation, tapos ano yung last? Implementation, monitoring, parang ano?
Or, oo, MNE, di ba? MNE.
Monitoring and evaluation, parang gano'n.
Okay. Very good. At least, di ba? So, at least na-kompleto natin yon. So, I'll call two more people. Two more people. Thank you, sir. Si Sir, naka-open si Sir Luis Cardel. Okay. Take it away. Kung ano lang yung maalala natin. Hi, sir. Si Anton kaya. Hello, Anton. Nawala yung dalawa dyan. So, ayaw mag-recite. This is good for us as a, so, ito yung nag-work na strategy sa review, no? Yung mga ganito. And I hope you won't be scared doing this one. Tayo lang naman ito. So, si Eds kaya. Ay, Eds, babae naman. Eds. Sige, may mag-volunteer. Yung mga
Yes,
nasa
ma'am.
LGU. Sige.
Yes, ma'am. May volunteer, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead. Sir Luis Mejia.
First step is yung mag-organize. Then, kung matapos mag-organize, i-identify po
Okay.
yung ating mga stakeholders.
Yes.
And then, step 3 is mag-analyze ng situation. And then, mag-set po ng vision.
Okay.
And then, mag-set na po ng goals and objectives.
Correct.
And
Ito yata yung step 6 yung medyo mahirap tandaan. But you can do that. Okay? Go ahead.
Yung establish na po yung development trust ng munisipyo, and then pagkatapos na is yung
Okay.
i-prepare na po yung land use plan.
Okay, just a moment. Hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
Doon sa step 6, dalawa yung pinaprepare doon. So, di ba yung establish development trust, like for example, if you are if the development direction is going commercial, or
Yes.
if you are making it, depends on the character of your LGU.
LGU.
And then ita-translate mo yung development trust into spatial.
Strategies.
Ayan. Sige, doblehin mo yung magsimula ka ulit sa step 6. Game.
Establishment of development trust and setting strategies.
Spatial.
Spatial strategies And then step 7 is yung i-prepare na po yung land use plan. And then pagkatapos po ng land use plan is the drafting of the zoning ordinance. And then we will go to the conduct of public hearing. At pagkatapos nun is review po ng PILOC, yung Provincial Land Use Committee. And then i-adapt po ng sanggunian. Tama po ba, ma'am? Sanggunian po ba ang
Okay. So after the public hearing, then there's the review.
review of the PILOC?
You are putting more details, so okay lang yan.
Kasi andito na po kasi kami ngayon, ma'am.
Okay. Review, di ba tatlo yun, ano?
Yes,
Review,
ma'am.
adopt, and approve. So,
Yes.
meron iba-ibang,
CLUP.
okay, merong iba-ibang entities na,
Yes.
okay, go ahead.
And then yun na po, kung ma-approve na po is implementation na po ng ating CLUP at saka yung zoning ordinance. And then yung last is yung monitoring and evaluation na po.
Okay, the MNE. Okay, so very good. I would like to have one more, and then we adjourn, and then I will explain each of the steps of the process tomorrow. Babae naman, magaling yung mga lalaki. Meron bang itaguyod naman yung mga ladies? Sino magre-represent ng women sector? Sige. Sige nga, isang volunteer. I would like to see a volunteer, to hear someone from the, sa mga ladies naman. We will not leave the Zoom without another one. Volunteer. Si Angela. Angela, baka pwede si Baby ang mag-recite. Di ba yung yung story ko about the Zamboanga doon sa doon sa restaurant, so sobrang tumatak sa akin yan. And sige, sandali, tingnan ko nga ulit. Gallery. Melissa. Sige, Melissa.
Itatry ko po, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
So, first step is organize. Second step is yung identification na po identification of stakeholders. Step 3 is setting the vision. Step 4 po is yung goals and objectives. Analyze the situation pala muna, ma'am. And then you set the goals and objectives. And then yun na pong number 6 is yung sa development trusts and spatial strategies. And then number 7 is the preparation na po of the land use plan. And then number 8 is drafting of the zoning ordinance. 9 is yung review.
Oops, may na-miss.
May na-miss ako.
Di ba pag meron ka ng if you have already formulated
public hearing pala muna.
Ayun,
Yes
okay.
po. Number 9, public hearing. Number 10 is yun ng review, adopt and approval of the CLUP and the zoning ordinance, and the implementation of the CLUP and the zoning ordinance, and then yung MNE, monitoring and evaluation.
Very good. I would like Nelimar. Last na. Nelimar. Kasi kanina, I appreciate na naka-camera si Nelimar. Sige nga, Nelimar. Unmute. You are still muted.
Okay na po ba, ma'am?
Yes.
Sige, ma'am, I will try po regarding po sa CLUP.
Okay.
The first step is the organize. Then, second is the identification of the stakeholders, kung sino po yung mga kailangan sa pag-formulate ng CLUP. And then the third step is the setting of the vision, in which saan ba papatutungo po ang isang LGU. So nagsiset po tayo ng vision. On the step 4, ina-analyze po natin yung situation on where are we now and ilan pa po yung kakulangan, at kung ano, nakukuha na ba ng ating vision kung saan tayo patutungo. And then sa step 5 po is yung setting the goals and objectives, kung paano po ma-attain po yung vision po natin. So nagsiset po tayo ng mga goals and objectives, and then sa sixth step is yung establish development trust and spatial strategies po. So kung ano ba yung mga natin, yung ano ba yung LGU natin, kung commercialize ba siya or tourism, mga ganun po. And then step 7 po is yun na po yung preparation of the CLUP po. And then yung sa step 8 naman po, yun po yung drafting ng zoning ordinance with the help of the Sangguniang Bayan members, since sila po dapat yung gumagawa po yung sa zoning ordinance. And then sa step 9 is the conduct of the public hearing. And then yung step 10 po is yung review, adopt, and approval of the CLUP and the zoning ZO. Sa step 11 na po yung implementation of CLUP and zoning ZO. And then sa step 12, monitor, evaluate of the CLUP and zoning ZO kung nakuha na po ba natin yung gusto po natin sa ating LGU. So yun lamang po yung kwan po sa step po ng CLUP, ma'am.
Galing naman ni Nelimar, may explanation pa. Very good. So, congratulations doon sa apat yung nag-recite today. So, it's not a recitation, so everyone can hear it. Kahit paulit-ulit lang. You need to memorize and you need to know the concept, ano yung sub-activities per the different steps. Tomorrow, I will himay-himayin natin yan. I will be explaining and what are those tasks, what are those work involved per step. Okay, so very good. I congratulate the four. Parang may nakikita na tayo ng mga dito, no? Mga papasa talaga. So, lahat dapat we are supposed to memorize the different steps and ano yung mga involved na doon, and who also sino yung maalala natin na thinkers, or sino ba yung can you recall some theories and can you recall some parts of planning history that rings a bell to you each time each time you recall the different steps? Siguro may maalala tayo. And so that's the best way to review and incorporating the theories and history into this the land use process, okay, and planning process in general. So tomorrow, Jen, take it away so that we can continue tomorrow. Kasi medyo mahaba ito, no? So I will focus on the 12 steps tomorrow. Jen?